Hi everyone, happy Friday. I hope you had a good week. I thought for today's vlog update, or whatever you want to call it, I would show you how I make my version of miso soup. I've been making this since I was in university, so it's been quite a few years now at this point. You need for it 5 different ingredients, the 5th one being water. I'm including it as an ingredient. I know some of the stuff I have trouble sourcing out here in rural Alberta, but Amazon does sell them if you decide that's the route you want to go. So the ingredients you need are green onions, you need miso paste. I like red miso, it's the strongest flavor. There's also white and yellow, which are milder flavors. You need Hon-dashi or a fish stock base for your soup. And then you also need tofu. My preference is soft tofu for it. And I think that's usually what they use, but I could only find medium firm tofu in Strathmore. So that's okay, we'll make do with what we have. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to begin by filling my little pot I have here with water. When I'm cooking, I'm more of a just throw things together versus follow the recipe kind of person with varying levels of success, but this one is tried and true. So fill up your pot with water. Go ahead and set your pot on the stove full of water. Turn it up to high to get it boiling as quick as possible. Then what you're gonna do is you're going to wash your green onions next. I like the taste of green onions, so I'm going to be cutting up 3, even though I'm making a small serving of soup. I cut off the little root end, and then I go slightly up the onion right to before it gets really dark green. It varies on how fresh they are, how much of the onion I'm gonna keep. And then I usually take off the outer skin of the onion just so it's more tender, that part. I'm just going to slice them thin. This is going to go on top of the soup, so I'm going to end up setting it aside to sort of garnish at the end. So we don't put it on until the soup's done cooking because we don't want our onions to get cooked. We want to keep them as fresh as possible. Okay, so onions to the side, and then I take my tofu out once it's drained. Yeah. I just noticed I have some pieces of hay on me, I think from the goats this morning. But my hands are clean. I washed them before. Okay, with the tofu, I'm not gonna eat all of this whole thing here today. So I'll probably eat 1/3 of it. So I cut off 1/3. The rest of it that you don't use, you can put, I usually put it in a Tupperware and cover it in water, and then you can use it over the next few days, but don't leave it too long. I've made that mistake. And then I cut this from each direction in sort of little cubes. Okay, nice. You are looking good. You are almost done. Grab a spoon. I'll show you the next thing we're gonna do. So you can take your Hon-dashi. I just got this Hon-dashi, so I haven't opened it yet. And then you're gonna dump some of it in your water. So basically this is just flavor preference. For this amount of water, I'm going to use about a teaspoon of Hon-dashi and then see if I want more. So I just sprinkle some of it in. It looks like it dissolves pretty easy. You get sort of a light brown color. And I used to dislike the smell of Hon-dashi or fish stock cooking, but the more I've had it, I guess maybe it's an acquired scent, as someone who didn't grow up with it. And then we don't put the miso paste in, but we can put our tofu in. As soon as it reaches a boil, we're going to turn it down to a simmer, and then that's when we put our miso in. And the reason we wait to put our miso in until after it's boiled is we don't want to sort of kill that good fermented nutrition value. So that's how we do that. As soon as your soup starts to boil, you can turn it down to a low simmer. And then what you're gonna do, you can take a bowl or a cup, you're just going to scoop out a little bit of your hot broth, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a spoon of our miso. As I said earlier, I really enjoy the taste of miso. This is about how much I'm gonna put in this one, which is generous. So half a tablespoon if you want to think of it that way, maybe a generous half of a tablespoon. And then you're going to put it in your broth you've taken out and you're going to dissolve it there. Otherwise, sometimes it can be difficult for the miso to dissolve. And once that is done, you can dump it into your soup. Give it a gentle little stir. We'll let it simmer just for about another minute, making sure the tofu's nice and hot. If you want, you can taste it and make sure your flavors are as strong as you'd like. You can always add more Hon-dashi or miso at this point, is fine. It tastes good. I put a lot of Hon-dashi in though. You wanna see how it's looking? Okay, so once we feel like it is cooked enough, we are going to put it into our bowl. I know now is the moment of truth. And so you could have put your green onions in before dishing it, but I want them as strong as possible. So I'm going to put them in after. Ho ho ho, that went quite smoothly. Okay, and then you're going to take your green onions, plop them on your soup, and that's all there is to it. I'll show you what the final result looks like. I should do like one of those cooking shows where they're like, delicious, and they're tasting the thing they made. But here is the final result. And I guarantee you that soup is 10 out of 10. I think you'll really like it.